Hi, this is Cindy Brett. I want to talk today about manifesting and just kind of start from the beginning and see if I can help demystify all the confusion about it. And the first thing I want to do, although I'm sure I will refer to it as manifesting, the first thing I want to do is change the word. Instead of calling it manifesting, let's just call it what we've always called it: goal setting, life. Manifesting is merely what happens when we focus our attention on something. And that's why I'm saying it's just life. The thing is, we want to do it consciously now that we can understand that we're the ones doing it. And we know that because goal setting has been around forever. And the way you set a goal is to decide what you want and then you move towards it. So that's the first thing, is what do you want? What kind of life do you want to live? Do you want to live a fun life? Because you can. Or you can go on living the life that you're living. Maybe you're stressed a lot. Maybe you're anxious, maybe you're depressed, maybe you are happy, maybe things are going great. This will still be a channel that I hope you will come. Now, mostly I'm talking to women, and women say 50 and above, because we get to a place in our lives where all the other things, the fringe, just doesn't matter so much. And what matters is, who are we? How are we being in the world? How are we contributing to the world? And that's what I want to talk about here. Because we can contribute the very things that we want. But anybody who is confused about, again, manifesting, please listen up. You have been bringing the things into your life your entire life. But that's not what we're taught. We're taught that all of these things are outside of us, that they're beyond our control. We certainly can't have what we want. But what if we can? And what if the only thing that stands between you having the things you want and not is a misunderstanding, a misinterpretation of how things work? We get caught up in the way that we think and believe, and that's what has to change. That does have to change. We do have to change. We do have to become different versions of ourselves. And it starts with understanding first that we can, and understanding that we are one with what we come from. I mean, doesn't that make logical sense? Wouldn't a tomato be one with the tomato plant? Wouldn't it be a tomato because it is part of a tomato plant? Wouldn't we be intelligent since we come from intelligence? But again, we haven't been taught about this. And as a matter of fact, we've been taught the opposite. So in order to live a life that you really love, you have to understand that you are creating it and that you need to make some shifts in how you think and feel and behave in order to have it be a different life. What is going on is that our outer world, the 3D or the physical world, is a reflection of our inner world. I doubt that that's new. I doubt that you haven't heard that before, or I would say you have heard that before. But what does that mean? And we make it so difficult, but it really does mean that what is going on inside, what we're thinking about and mulling over and over and over, what we're talking about, what we're texting about, what we're complaining about, what we're daydreaming about, that's all going on inside, right? I mean, even if you're talking into the outer world, you are thinking from your inner world. So that's where the work lies, is changing how we're being in our inner world. Learning that we're imagining there, and we can imagine anything, and that's why we're told we can have anything. which when you understand that, that makes perfect sense. If you're doing it in your inner world, or let me take it and say, since you're doing it in your inner world, doesn't it make sense that you can have anything that you want? Because in your inner world you can. Now, I know that seems a little bit odd if this is not something you've really thought about before or studied. And that's really what it takes to live a life that you love. It takes studying this so that you really understand it. Understand it to the degree that you go, well, I know that's right. I may not be doing it very well yet. I may still be getting the same kind of experiences that I've been getting, but I understand that the process is accurate. And I know that I can learn a new process. So I studied directly with Bob Proctor since 2003. And he always taught this as goal achieving, right? But now the buzzword is manifesting. But from the beginning, we've always known that we can achieve our goals if we're willing to do certain things. And Bob would say, you have infinite potential, so we know you can do it. He'd say the first question you need to ask yourself is, am I willing? And that's accurate. That's very accurate to ask yourself, am I willing? Again, what's the willingness? The willingness is to accept that you are a creative being, and you need to study to understand how you operate. It's like anything else that you're learning. When you get a new car, you have to learn how the car works. There's certain buttons and knobs and things that you turn, and that's what makes certain things happen in your car. It's the exact same thing within us. We learn that there are certain ways to think and to, again, speak and to go within instead of focusing on what's going on in the outside world. We can't change it there. When we try to change it there, it's just like looking in a mirror and seeing a smudge on your face, and you try to wipe the mirror to get the smudge off. It won't change there because that's not where it's happening. It's happening here. But instead of my external appearance, it's inside. The world is a reflection of what I'm thinking, the way I am being. Who do I believe I am? If I believe I'm a powerless person, why would I even do this? So first I have to understand I'm not at all powerless. How could you be powerless of your own thinking, your own internal thinking? But again, you have to realize that this out here is reflecting that. And I know for myself, it took study. It took a lot of study until I got to the place where I said, again, I know this is right. I know this is accurate. I know this is truth. I know this is in alignment with, what is taught in Scripture. I'm not religious. However, I've learned that what I was taught when I was in religion, when I was in churches, is not what Scripture is actually saying. Now, that might be challenging to some of you that just heard me say that. But again, if you're willing to have an open mind and just listen and learn, you might see a very different world. If you love the world that you're living in right now, in other words, if you're not stressed, if you are calm and peaceful, and everything in your life is as you would have it be, then you're doing great already. However, if it's not that way, you're doing great too. I don't mean to say that you're not. It's just that you could learn to manage your external world. Are you willing? Are you willing to do what it takes? And that's what I'm going to be talking about here. And I'm going to talk about it in as many different ways as I can, using analogies and metaphors, because that's helped me so much to understand. Here's one that I'll leave you with right now. When you order something off of Amazon or wherever you order from, you probably, once you place that order, you absolutely assume that it's going to be delivered. You don't have it. You can't hold it yet, but you know it's coming because you've learned to trust Amazon. What if you learn to trust you? And what if you learn to trust this process? It is life-changing. It is life-giving. It is freedom. The truth sets you free each and every time. I'll be back. I'm Cindy Brett. Thank you for listening. I'd love to have your comments. I'd love for you to like the video and share it. All the things that YouTube needs for the algorithm that will help get this conversation. Let's put together a community of like-minded people who want to talk about this, who want to go deeper into it and understand, who want to lock arms and support one another as we grow, as we awaken, and as we evolve. Be well. I'll see you soon.